Okay, so every year Goodreads holds Choice Awards where readers can vote for the best books of the year. This year I decided that I want to read some of those best books, so let's take a look at the finalists. First of all, no surprise, Yellowface won for fiction. Right off the bat, I'm going to be reading that one because I've been wanting to read Yellowface and I'll take any excuse to buy a book. Historical fiction, we got Wayward. I've never heard of that, but it also won for debut novel, so I think I'm going to pick that one up as well. Mystery and thriller I wanted to pick up, but it looks like this is a sequel. It's The Housemaid's Secret, so I'm not going to be picking up a sequel. Romance, Emily Henry won, no surprise. I think I'll pick this one up because I do like Emily Henry and I don't read a lot of romance, so it's kind of stepping outside my comfort zone. Romantasy, Fourth Wing, no surprise, but I've already read that. Fantasy Hellbent, also no surprise, but I put this one on my Christmas list, so I will not be buying it. And it's also another sequel, so let's just try to stay away from the sequels. Science fiction, I want to read a science fiction book because I don't read a lot of it, but I do tend to like it, so I will be putting this on my list. This is In the Lives of Puppets. Horror, I was going to read the horror pick, but it's Stephen King, and I think this one's a sequel, so I'm going to stay away. And I think those might be my selections. I'm going to stay away from the young adult books just because I don't really read young adult anymore. Debut novel is the same one as historical fiction, so I'll be picking that one up. I'm going to stay away from the nonfiction categories just because I already have plenty of nonfiction on my shelves I haven't been reading. So I think the final selections are going to be Yellowface, Wayward, Happy Place, and In the Lives of Puppets. So I think I'm going to start with Yellowface first just because that's the only book on this list that I actually know about and have been wanting to read. So I'll start reading that and I'll check in with you when I have some thoughts. Hello, I am... Where am I in this book? Why can't I find my bookmark? Wait. I am 72 pages into Yellowface. Sophia is here with me. Let me disturb her real quick so she can say hello. Sorry, honey. So essentially this book has been following two main characters, Athena and June. Athena and June are like not really friends. Like June kind of hates Athena, but they hang out anyway, and Athena's really nice to her. And essentially they're hanging out one night. Oh, also Athena is like a very successful published author. June has not been very successful, so she's very jealous of Athena. One night they're hanging out and Athena dies. Like very awfully in front of June. And for some reason, June's response is to like steal her manuscript of the book that she was writing that no one knows about or has read yet, and then decides to try to publish it as her own. So that's what's happening so far. R.F. Kuang's doing a really good job of making me hate June. She's so obnoxious. And she's like the story that she stole is about like Chinese... I'm forgetting what it's about now, but it's about like Chinese workers during World War II or something. And so I'm at the scene where the publishing agency is trying to get her to use like a sensitivity reader, and she absolutely refuses to do so, even though she's white and the story is about Chinese people. So I'm really hating June so far, but I will say this is a really engrossing book. Like I'm so into it already. I don't really want to put it down. So that's it. I'll be giving you another update at some point, but that's all for now. Say goodbye, Saphira. She says goodbye. She hates me right now. My shirt says you have nothing to lose but your chains. Anyway, good morning. Well, it's morning for me. I am on page 202 of Yellowface, and honestly I wish I had more to say because my thoughts on this book are just like, yeah, it's good. Like, yeah, I'm enjoying it. But I don't really have any complicated thoughts that I can like talk about. I will say, like, obviously I think this book is like very important. I think the discussions that it has surrounding publishing and books in general are very important, and I'm glad that I'm reading it. It's like R.F. Kuang's writing is great. Like, it's so immersive. You can just get into it really quickly and it feels like you're there. I'm reading it very fast. I think I'm gonna finish it by the end of the day. Yeah, I wish I had more to say. I feel like I'm just kind of like a blank, like I like the book and nothing else. So there's where I'm at for that. I'm in the middle of finals right now, so I do have to do some studying today, but I do think I can still finish this book, so fingers crossed that I do, and then I'll be moving on to probably Wayward, I think, next. I'm not sure. Maybe the Emily Henry book. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, I'll check in with you again, hopefully after I finish Yellowface. Goodbye. Saphira's here. Say hi. She hates this. Okay, so I finished Yellowface, which is a feat because I've been working on a final all day long. So I'm pretty proud of myself. I just don't have much to say. I think maybe 3 stars because I liked it, but I wasn't like in love with it. Like I said, it's very readable, it has like a lot of important themes, and I feel almost like I should like it more because of how important those themes are. But at the end of the day, it's just like a 3-star book for me. Excuse me, can you not right now? So yeah, those are my thoughts. Not much, I'm sorry about that, but I think I'm gonna go to Wayward next because I'm not really in the mood for Emily Henry yet, so I'll update you as soon as I'm a little bit into that. Okay, so some closing thoughts on Yellowface. I've given it some thought. It's still like a 3-star book for me. Like, I enjoyed it, but I didn't like really enjoy it, which is the difference between 3 and 4 stars for me. Is this the best fiction book of 2023? No, not in my personal opinion, but I can see why it won the award. Like I said, it's really readable, it's really entertaining, it's fast paced, and it also has like really important messages and like really important critiques of publishing, which of course, as readers, we're all interested in that. Or most of us. I would recommend it. I do think it was a good read. But that's all for Yellowface for now. After that, I picked up Wayward by Amelia Hart. I am, let's see, 142 pages in so far. About that far. So I've read a decent chunk of it. So far this book is following 3 different women. You're following Kate in 2019, who's escaping from an abusive relationship. You're following Violet in like 1940s during World War II. As she's growing up on an estate and trying to figure out the truth about her mother, who she's never known. And you're following Alpha, I think is how you say her name, in the 1600s, who's on trial for being accused of being a witch. And presumably these women are all from the same family, the Waywards. I'm liking it so far. I mean, it's not like super compelling to be honest, and I've definitely read better historical fiction than this. They don't really use the time period as a setting too much, like they don't really go into the time period. It's more so just this background, and I like when historical fiction like really plays with the history and makes you feel like you're in that period of time, or at least like you're learning about it a little bit. And so for this one, like, there's not much history in the historical fiction. I will also say too, there was like a page where they referred to someone as being Oriental, which is gross and shouldn't have been said. So I'm hoping nothing like that happens again. But other than that, it's been okay so far. Not loving it, not hating it though. So that's that. I'm gonna get back to reading and I will check in with you soon. Okay, it's recording. Okay, so I finished Wayward and I have some thoughts. The first thing I want to say is that there's like a million content warnings for this book. You have RAPE of a teenager and of an adult. You have sexual assault, you have domestic violence, you have miscarriage, you have stillborns, you have suicidal ideation, and those are just the ones I can think of right now. I'm sure there's others that I'm not thinking of too, but I'm not a perfect person and I can't come up with all of them. So I read a couple of reviews of this book that rated it pretty negatively, and they were talking about how there's all this abuse and this triggering content in the book. And then the way that the book like makes up for it or justifies it is there's this like empowering theme that these specific women have this affinity with nature, but then in real life these women don't have that. So it's kind of like, what's the point in including all this triggering material if it's not really like connected to a larger theme? So I kind of align with that a bit. I'm not gonna say that you have to like justify every triggering thing you have in a book, but it did feel like a bit gratuitous after a certain point. Did I mention that there's domestic abuse? I hope I did, because that's the big theme. But I think that overall the book was just kind of meh, even without the triggering stuff. Like, as I was talking before, it's a historical fiction, but it really feels like it could be set in any time period, because the author doesn't really interact with the time setting of the place very much. I don't think it was like poorly written or anything like that, but it just wasn't very original either. So, is this the best historical fiction book I've read? No. Do I see why it won? Not really, to be honest. I don't get the hype with this one. It has very good ratings online. I'm not quite sure why. I just found it to be okay. I rated it 2.5 stars. I didn't hate it, but I wasn't gonna put it on equal footing with like Yellowface. So yeah, I'm not quite getting the hype with this one. At least with Yellowface, like I understood why it was so popular. This one I'm not getting it. Although I will say, I don't know if you can see, but there's like these lovely little embossed images on the hardcover, and that I enjoy. But yeah, so now I'm going to move on. I'm going to read Happy Place, I think, by Emily Henry, which to be honest I'm kind of dreading because I'm not in the mood to be reading a romance, like at all. Like the idea of reading a romance right now makes me want to cry. It just sounds very sad in retrospect. I just don't want to do it. So I think I'm going to do that next just to get over with it. I have liked Emily Henry in the past though, so maybe I'm just being dumb. Maybe I'll really love it. But I'm going to get to reading and I'll update you when I have an update. Goodbye. Okay, so I'm literally on the first page of this book, but I have to point out that one of the characters' name is Sabrina, which is my name, which makes me feel very special. I don't know if anyone else, like, when I see my name in books, I get excited and I feel special, but when someone else in real life has my name, I get offended, because, like, that's my name. Anyway, I just had to point out that I'm happy about that, so I'm gonna get back to reading now. Goodbye. Oh wait, Saphira should say goodbye too. She says goodbye. Okay, so I'm 93 pages into Happy Place. Essentially, you're following this main character, Harriet, who every summer spends a week with her best friends at her friend's parents' cabin with them and their partners. What her friends don't know this time, though, is that her and her fiance have broken up, but they're both on this vacation together and they have to pretend that they're still together, which is awful. It's good so far. The banter is fun. It's cute. Not really what I'm in the mood for to be reading right now, but I'll get through it. I'm hoping that I'll finish it today actually, because I've made a lot of progress and I don't have anything to do today, so I think I can just lay in bed and read all day long. So I'll keep you updated with my thoughts. Goodbye. So, finished Happy Place and made me cry a lot, which is why I look like shit now. I definitely liked it. I gave it 3 stars. I do see why it won the award. I mean, Emily Henry is really good at what she does. Can you hear the child crying outside my window? Anyway, over the sound of that child crying, I'm going to say that I'm going to pick up that robot book next and get started on that. So, I'll let you know when I have some thoughts. Goodbye. Me and Saphira are here. Okay, I'm on literally page 3 of In the Lives of Puppets, and I do not think I'm going to like this, sadly. Which is kind of crazy to say on page 3, but I'm saying it. So essentially, so far, all that's happened is that there's this guy named Giovanni who's not human, which is all that has been said about him. And he finds this building in the forest, and he starts to live there. He starts to, like, build upon building. But on page 3, what happens is he starts getting a pain in his chest, and he runs calculations in his labs, and he finds out that he's lonely. And numbers never lied. And, like, it seems like it's gonna be very whimsical, which is not my thing. So I'm not looking forward to this, and it's a pretty long book, so I'm not excited right now. Hopefully I'm wrong. We'll see, I guess. I'm on page 17, there's something else I had to share with you. Okay, at this point, Giovanni, who's that original guy, 2 people came up to him and, like, handed him their son. They're like, they're looking for us, can you hide him? So he took in these people's son, and now it's been, like, a matter of many years, and now the son is, like, in a scrapyard playing. Well, he's not playing, I'm pretty sure, I don't know his age right now. He's in a scrapyard collecting stuff, and he has these 2 small robots with him, and one of the robots, like, flirts with him, and then says, "Did it work? Are you aroused? You don't appear to be aroused. Your penis shows no signs of elevated blood flow that supports recreational sexual engagement." And then the other little robot says, "I don't have a penis," Rambo said mournfully. Somewhere inside him, gears shifted and a little slot opened up at his base. He grunted and a little pipe extended, dripping what looked like oil. "Now I do. Hooray for penises." Like, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm sure for a certain person this would be, like, joyful and, like, fun, but this is so not my vibe at all. I'm not liking this, and I'm only on page 17. There are, like, 400 pages in this book. I'm not excited at all right now. Okay, I'm on page 150 of In the Lives of Puppets. It's getting better, don't worry. So essentially you're following this human named Vic, who's been raised by an android that he calls his father, Geo. Geo isn't like other androids though, because he actually has a heart. It's not like a human heart, but what's inside of him is in the shape of a heart. And so he has feelings, thoughts, dreams, just like people do. He takes in Vic when he was a young age after his parents frantically like asked Jill to take him in. And they've built a life together along with some other robot friends that Vic has recovered from a scrapyard. One day, Vic is in the scrapyard again and he comes across another android that he takes home and he fixes. He repairs it with a heart just like that of his father. And then one day, this big ship comes and takes his father away. And that's where I'm at in the story. And that's pretty much what the synopsis on the book cover says too, so I'm not spoiling anything. The humor has taken some getting used to, but I will say it's calmer and it's gotten easier to read as I've gone on. There's also some asexual representation here, which is cool because that's an identity that you don't really see explored in literature that often, or at least I haven't. So that's cool. The book is about 400 pages, so I still got a way to go. But I am liking it more than I thought. It's not as negative as I was talking. It's not as bad as I was making it seem with those first couple clips. So I'm gonna get back to reading. Okay, so I finished In the Lives of Puppets, finally. It's only been a few seconds to you, but for me it's been a couple of weeks because I went home for Christmas and I did not bring this with me. I will say, my earlier comments about it being cringy and embarrassing, I got used to that as the book went along. I think it's always a risk to use humor in a book that's necessarily going to alienate some of your readers because not everyone has the same taste. And I don't really think I found it funny at all, but I will say I got used to the humor. It didn't bug me as much as it went on. I do think at its heart this is a very sentimental, very like sweet book about a found family. That's just not a very me thing. Like, I tend to read very dark, very emotional books, and I won't say that this book isn't emotional because like he's on this quest to like save his father. It's obviously emotional in that way, but for me, like, I tend to read more very depressing books and that's what I think of when I think of emotional. So I'm not gonna say this is a bad book by any means. I did give it 3 stars, so like right in the middle there for me. I did end up enjoying it and I would recommend it if the synopsis sounds interesting to you and if you can deal with the humor, but just be warned that there is humor in this book. So there you go, I have read some of the Goodreads Choice Awards finalists. I think my favorite of the bunch is probably Yellowface, but even that I only gave 3 stars. I think I gave every book 3 stars except for Wayward. Is that right? I think that's right. So overall it's like a very bland experiment here. I would have thought that I would have liked some of them more given that they're supposed to be the best books of the year, but I guess this just goes to show that it's all very subjective, of course. So yeah, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you soon with another video. Goodbye!